Welcome back to the Unfortunate Diehards podcast. Hashtag number 40. We're technically 46, but we forgot it wasn't 45 last time. So we're gonna go with 45 this time to make up for the other one. Omar's age. Round of applause, everyone. Very
My
creative. Thank
God,
you.
that's not the hashtag.
So welcome back to the Unfortunate Diehards podcast. Like I said, I know it's been a while, so we have lots to catch up on. The season's well underway. We're about 10 to 12 games in now for most teams. And I'm Evan. I'm a Sens fan. Yay. I'm sure all of you are very jealous of me. Um, Introduce yourselves.
Omar, the Leafs fan.
Sophia and Cavs fan. Did we last talk before the season started?
No, we talked after the season. No,
I don't know if we did.
Oh no, no,
this
we
is our
didn't.
first in season.
This is our
Actually, yeah, this
first
is our
in
first
season
one. Yeah,
episode,
yeah.
bro. We've been slacking.
We've been MIA. Apologies,
Whose fault is that?
folks.
Summers.
Yeah, who moved away?
Homer did.
All right, so this is our first go at it since the season started. So I mean, okay, why don't we start then by saying what has surprised us so far
I thought it was Evan that runs the episodes.
to start the
Omar.
season.
He's been doing that lately, honestly.
Yeah, what a
And,
he wants to not have us talk about our lives. That's the problem.
no.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
I forgot about the lives.
yeah, so Sufi, how's the UK?
It's good. There's not enough hockey out here.
Sufi says
Oh,
there's a lot of hot women though. Quote from our group chat.
I can neither confirm or deny in case someone from here watches it, which I highly doubt, but you never know.
I
Anyways,
said a lot, not all. So
to be fair, either or is fine.
Omar, how's Northern Canada been?
Northern Canada has been great. The weather is
He's back from San Francisco.
to die for. Yeah. I'm just a world traveler. Last time I
He's
was in San
bushcraft.
Fran.
He's bushcraft camping out there.
This time I'm camping in the Northern Lights in Yukon.
Wow.
Yukon, the Yukon territories.
A lot of bears out there, I hear.
How about you, Evan?
I since the last episode got concussed.
Yes, I
So
remember this.
That's
um
probably why we didn't film.
yeah, I've only really gotten back to working a little bit this past week. And
But you were off work for like 2 weeks.
like more than 2 weeks. Yeah, it was not very fun, but got bills to pay, so now we're pushing through, and hope I don't die.
And you are officially announcing your retirement from soccer here, right?
I've tried to do that for years, but then Sufi told me to play, then
Never done.
Sophia told me to play.
Well, I've already retired, so before moving to the UK, ironically.
From your what was your knee slash your shin or whatever your issue was to now
You
your
just
head.
can't play soccer, bro. Soccer's the issue, not him.
Yeah, but that with
I'm not
soccer,
even bad at soccer. It's just soccer doesn't
It's the
like me.
injuries. It's like
Yeah.
it's like Freddie Andrews and hockey.
it's really funny because every time you know
That's
how you
sad.
watch soccer on TV and then the players kind of act dramatic and we're like, oh come on, it's the least physical sport and whatnot. But you know what? Soccer just
Well, the
from
problem
playing
is,
it injures you quite a bit. It injures you more than like hockey would or such because of
bro, we're
the
playing. You guys play on turf. That's also the other issue.
yeah, true.
Turf is horrible for your hips and knees, and
Turf makes
apparently
a
your head.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently for getting hit in the face.
You also got a ball kicked in your face. That could have happened anywhere, realistically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we both got a concussion in the last little while through soccer.
Homer, you're always injured
Yeah, but concussion.
in some way. For I think you
My
hurt
first
yourself.
concussion. They don't feel good, to be honest.
There's a lot of stories I could tell here, but I will refrain.
About me getting injured.
There's a specific pants story that
I am famous for that one. But
Okay,
you know what?
let's just
That
share
happened.
very quickly. Omar
That happened
broke
in
his
Paris.
finger trying to put on pants.
I didn't break my finger,
You essentially broke your finger.
essentially, but it still wasn't broken.
hurting it in any
I
capacity.
forgot what it was called. The doctor had a name for
You
it. I
like
don't remember
tore
the
a
name.
tendon or something.
Yeah, yes, I tore my tendon.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
That's
my
so
finger here, my middle finger on, I think it was my middle finger anyway, if I remember correctly. My middle finger on my right hand was bent.
That's the result. That's a direct result of drinking soda more than water.
And
Yes, I'm
being like 70.
sound like a 60-year-old brown mom. Oh, you
Oh,
got injured because you drink too much Coke.
I think the brown moms are right on this one. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
All right,
that was
let's talk hockey.
All right, I'll go last because
Let me start. As I have the least amount of stuff,
cool.
probably. Like
Go ahead. Start with your capitals.
my team has all the issues we're foreseen, and we somehow have a better record than I could have ever hoped. 5-4-1. You know, still not great, but technically more wins than regulation losses. So I'm proud of
Over
my boys.
500.
Yeah. Um. Uh. Honestly, I didn't think Dowd being injured for the last couple of weeks would have that big of an effect on the team, but it turns out having a fourth line center that's amazing on the penalty kill is actually pretty valuable, especially when it results in Kuznetsov being your first line penalty killer. So yeah, that's hurt us a lot, but you think he's back in the next few games. Um, the Matthew Phillips experiment has dwindled. He's now on our fourth line, pretty much only in the lineup because Dowd's injured. But I think when Dowd's back, he's out. And I think when Pacioretty's back, I think Mantha has to go somewhere.
But he
Um,
scored a nice goal.
yeah, he's somehow looked better, and still the stats don't say anything about it. So I think he's on the way out. And you remember the whole summer I was like, McClellan is looking to move Mantha, and he's also trying to get a top six forward, a young top six forward. Well, you know what McClellan said last week? He said the exact same thing again.
Oh,
Four
yeah.
months later, we're still looking. So I'm convinced this isn't happening, but apparently
Can't be that hard.
Connor Garland is being talked about being traded and stuff. He's not playing great, so I don't know if that's good or not. Um, but yeah, I think like Ovechkin's off to a bit of a slow start. Well, probably the worst start of his career goal wise. But his shooting and play driving and everything is the same. So I think it's going to start going in eventually. He's had like a lot of near misses, which I'm not used to seeing from him. But yeah, and then the Backstrom news. So I was pretty harsh on the topic. I kind of told him to retire in the offseason, and he didn't. Um, but looking back on it now, I do feel kind of bad. Not that he ever, listened to me or anything, but I do feel like it gets to a point in your career where you're trying to do the thing that you love most and you literally cannot do it, which is where I think he was at.
Yeah.
But you could tell that he was like last year, you could tell he was struggling when he was playing, and it kind of went away in preseason, and then it has been looking pretty bad for him. He just keeps it's not even just the speed. Like I feel like it's affecting every part of his game, and he only had like 1 point in the 9 games that he played. So I think that like his playing days are over. I think they're trying to sugarcoat it a bit right now. Um, and it's mostly just for cap reasons because if he retires right now, it becomes a bit of a problem for the team. Um, so they're saying it as like a long-term injury. So he's going to end up being career LTIR like Carey Price and Shea Weber, etc. So until his contract's done.
Which has how
Um,
long left in it?
I think it's just 2 years or something like that, 1 or 2
What?
years. Um, so bright side of it all gives us cap relief. So with
so now you don't
Patrick,
have to trade away Mantha.
I think they're factoring trading in Mantha into the cap relief. Actually, the way they're talking about it, they're trying to find someone to take his contract. That's how they worded it, which is kind of wild. Um, but yeah, so it's like with Backstrom out, it gives us 9.5 million in cap space just from him. So when Edmondson comes back and um, when Edmondson comes back and when Pacioretty comes back, we'll still have around 6 mil left. So it gives us a bit of wiggle room, especially with Mantha potentially being gone. But other than that, Dylan Strome's been good. Wilson's been good. Kuzi looks good sometimes, other times dejected. Can never tell. but I think we played a lot better recently compared to what we were at the start of the season, which kind of sucks because we played your two teams early in the season. So I kind of wish we played them now. Although we dominated Toronto and we still lost 4-1. So I don't know what that was. Um, well, when we
At least
unfortunately played Ottawa when they were high and flying off the first few games. And we were definitely not at the time. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. And, it's not as the season hasn't been as bad as I thought it was going to be. So not much to complain about in Capsland. I can't really say the same about you guys. So,
let's go to Toronto land. Honestly, not much to complain about in Toronto land either.
oh, come on, bro.
Well,
What's different Toronto this year than past years? The goaltending got worse.
yeah, well, Samsonov's been struggling. But we have to take it into perspective. I know you don't like it when I talk like this, but it makes sense because
Oh my god.
this is how the Leafs always start their seasons. So you got to give it 2 months or so. I told you the same thing when we had that prediction when Sens played Washington. I was like, look, Sens always start hot, they're gonna win, but they're gonna cool off, and you're like, that makes no sense. And
The
look,
Sens started hot before.
cooled off.
I don't know.
They
We also
cooled
said
off
Buffalo
November.
starts hot. Buffalo started awful, and now they're doing good.
Yeah, but see, the Leafs
I
always
think
start
I think the
every
problem
year
with the Leafs,
pretty bad.
the whole thing that you're saying though is like, doesn't it kind of feel like the same cycle then? Like it's like the same things are just happening again, which just results in the same thing at the end of the year.
Yeah, but like but like how, in what way is this team supposed to be different?
Well, I think that most of the issues right now, there's no problem with the stuff that we know is good, right? We know that the four players that are supposed to score are scoring and will score and will continue scoring.
Yep.
It's everyone else that's continues to be the problem.
Yeah, so depth scoring as usual is an issue in Toronto.
Defense.
Defense is an issue. I would say defense is a bigger issue this year because well, Klingberg looks awful. Man, the guy looks terrible. Just I do not like watching him play.
Good offensively though.
No, 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 he really isn't. His puck control is abysmal. His passing decisions are mediocre. His positioning is quite terrible. And his
Yeah,
speed is very lacking, to be honest. I'm
yeah,
not a
he's
fan of I'm honestly
never.
not a fan of any part of his game. You can't give me a silver lining to John Klingberg so far this season. I'm not gonna take it. He is not good in any zone for me at all. I do not like him, and I don't know why he's on the first power play. Morgan Riley should stay on the first power play. Riley's been good, and yeah, I don't
Does
like anything about
Klingberg
him.
remind you of one Tyson Berry?
No. Tyson Berry looked better, even though he sucked. Tyson Berry looked like he had more speed, he had more skill, he was more like this guy. Just I don't like watching him. It looks like they put a B League player on the team. Honestly, I don't know. I don't like it.
Damn.
Um, so I'm not a fan of John Klingberg. Not I well, but I'm not gonna say that's a surprise. Like I knew I wasn't gonna be a fan when we signed him. So
Yeah.
that's not a surprise there. I'm a bit surprised that Max Domi doesn't even have a goal yet. He's not saying he's playing terrible, but Max Domi he should.
I
I
think
feel
we
like
can establish that he's playing terrible.
yeah, he's not playing great, but I'm a bit surprised. I'm a little bit surprised. I wasn't expecting much from him, but I'm a bit surprised that it's that poor of a start. Matthew
Mm-hmm.
Nyes I've loved so far, and obviously the big guys are doing their thing. And Samsonov's been
Bertuzzi.
struggling, but it's tough right now to get a. I always give I like to give my team a grade by December time because I think it takes 2 months to get everything in motion. Generally, I think you need the 20 game to 25 game mark before the team gels like it's supposed to or like it's meant to, and all the new players come in and all the changes are fully embraced in the season and everything's working to the coach's tactics and the whole system's on. And then December, and that's like 20 25 games in is when. So that's why a lot of these things we're seeing right now with any team, I take with a bit of a grain of salt because unless you're like the Bruins or a team that we know is gonna keep this going, like the Red Wings and stuff. I'm gonna give it 20 25 games and we go from there and see who stays up there and who starts showing what we think they're gonna show.
I have a question for you.
Yep.
Do you think Ryan Reeves needs to be benched?
Honestly, the guy is barely playing, so I don't know if he needs to be benched or not. The guy
But
plays for 5 minutes a
you
night.
did see the thing that I sent, right?
No.
It's like Reeves has played like I think I think he's averaging like 7 minutes a game or something like that, 8 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Um, but they've been outscored 7-0 when he's been on the ice,
Yeah. It's not been good. That's why he's been benched a lot,
which
actually.
is it's kind of impressive when you only play 8 minutes a game to be
Yeah.
outscored
I
nothing.
mean, but it's again, it's another Cholaving signing that we knew gonna not was not gonna work. Like there's no surprise seeing Ryan Reeves not work out. Um, I
Signed him
think
for
he will
three
be
years.
benched at some point. Like his one job was like, I mean, it's tough. Like I don't know. This is a different discussion, but like I'm not a huge believer in his style of player in today's NHL.
Hmm.
I don't think they work. I think if you want to be that type of player, you have to be like a Kachuk, who can do that, but also produce and has skill, and who can be a top line or top two line center kind of thing, or winger, whatever.
Like you
But like,
have, I think the thing is you have different versions of those players. Like Kachuk's maybe like a first line version of that, where it's more like offense and then like the fighting aspect, and then Wilson's like the second line version of that.
yeah, but these
Uh,
but both
and,
players
but
have
that, but
skill and
but then
produce.
you even have like a Jordan Greenway who's like a third line version of that. Still a player that's like he's not like
Yeah,
scaled up his mind, but he's still like he's not hurting your team, and he's like good defensively and stuff
yeah.
and all that.
But that's the thing. But
There's
Ryan
even
Reeves is like
he's just like
only I'll fight you or try to intimidate you and nothing
yeah.
else, and that's it, right? And that's like Ty Domi or whatever, and it's just not that was the 90s and the early 2000s. I don't think it works anymore. I think the game has changed too much for these kind of players to work out unless they have the skill and production
Mhm.
in other ways properly.
I also think there's been a bit of a narrative around like Bertuzzi and Domi, like Max Domi being
Yeah.
like tougher players that are supposed to be fighting and stuff, just because like they were never those players before they came to the Leafs. I think that their names kind of hindered them, and for whatever reason, Toronto fans were expecting them to be like these extremely hard nosed players that are
Yeah, they
going
were
into
expecting
corners
like
and
some grease out of them.
yeah, they're
I mean, I
most of
don't
them
think
are
they.
skilled players. They just look like
Yeah.
they're fighters because they're missing teeth.
Yeah, true. Um,
Names.
yeah, even Bertuzzi has a slow start, but I'm
Usually
not.
has 3 points.
Yeah, so I'm not
Yeah.
like. But you know what? We'll give him his time and see if he picks it up. But yeah, anyway, Ryan Reeves and John Klingberg, two signings who I was not happy with in the summer, and they're proving to be the bums that they that I
Yeah.
thought they were gonna be. Um,
Do you think Wall is taking over, or he is now the number one?
I know that he should be. I know he's not going to be because they're not
You think they're
going
still going to
to.
alternate?
They're going to keep alternating, and I know they're going to keep it going. I don't know how long Keith is going to keep it going, but man, it really pisses me off every time I see 35 when I'm watching the anthems standing on the ice instead of Wall. Like honestly, yesterday I put the game on and I didn't actually check the pregame stuff to see who was playing. So
Yeah.
as the anthem started, the camera panned down to center ice, and I was like, "Oh shit! I hope it's Wall." And I see 35, and I was really annoyed.
Him
Uh,
starting against Tampa is a choice.
yeah. And him, like, okay, Leafs won the game, so fine, but
He got
him
pulled.
staying in the game until after he let in four
Yeah.
goals, like after
Yeah.
after the third goal, you got to pull this guy. But Keith kept him in and he let the fourth goal in, and then he pulled him. So
Hasn't even pulled like his last two starts now too. Like he
last
had
two
that
starts
one
was
game.
Tampa. Last two starts was Tampa.
Oh, true. Because he like was that Tampa one where he let in like 3 goals on 4 shots or something like
Yeah,
that. Damn.
yeah. And after this, I think it was 4 goals. So 4 goals on 9 to 12 shots, something like
It
that.
was 12.
So anyway, he's been all. I mean, Wall is the guy I think they should run with, and give him the games. I don't think they will because they're like, oh, we want to keep Samsonov going and we need him and stuff. Sure, whatever. But at some point, the guy's going to keep costing you games unless he figures it.
Second star of the week last week, Joseph Wall.
Yeah, exactly. So why is he not playing after? I mean, he had a couple of games where he had like a 930, 940 save percentage. And this guy, the next game I watched, I'm like, why is Samsonov playing in net? Why?
Because like Wall did have like a bad game mixed in there, but I think that you also have to give him an extended run at starter.
He's a rookie.
Like all starter goalies, starting goalies have let's say Hellebuck starts 5 games in a row. He's gonna have one game in there that's just not his caliber. Then he's
Yeah.
going to come back the next game and be amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I hope Woe gets to start against Ottawa tomorrow. Yeah, we got Ottawa tomorrow, eh?
Oh, damn. Toronto Auto tomorrow?
Yeah, it sends leaves tomorrow in Toronto.
Damn.
So I
I'll
hope
be on
Why?
your street. Maybe I'll come over.
yeah, you can actually. I'm gonna be home.
I'll FaceTime you guys, but I'm going to be watching Washington.
So if you're interested in watching the game together, you are welcome to come over.
Washington playing tomorrow.
But yeah, but that being said, that's about all I've got on the Leafs. Let's get on to the big story of the year so far. For
Yeah,
you
Evan,
know,
you say what you got to say. Give your opening statement, and then we got a lot of questions.
yes, we have we have a barrage of questions for you.
I feel like I'm
Is it-
Michael Andlauer at the press conference.
Yeah, you're going to
Question?
be. Although I don't know if you're necessarily going to be defending everything of your team, but like, I guess we'll see. Oh, we got Florida tomorrow. Kill me now.
Okay. Um, Started great. Um, Initially, first like 4 games or so, Ottawa looked really fast. Especially with Zub healthy. I felt like we had more structure, moving the puck up the ice really quickly. Um, and then there was this uncertainty at the time with Shane Pinto and Josh Norris if they were going to play. Norris did come back. He's been doing pretty decent since. He's definitely, in my opinion, our most like defensively aware center. Like if you just watch him play in the defensive zones, he is always kind of watching where other people are. Where some people just kind of totally forget and then just leave people wide open. He's always head on a swivel, checking where everyone's going, where the puck's going, etc.
Name those players.
Um,
Who's forgetting how to play defense? Evan, call him out.
not Josh Norris.
Uh,
Um,
some controversy out of this guy.
and then Jake Sanderson and Jacob Chikrin started off very hot. As I predicted, Jake Sanderson. So he has been easily our best defenseman. Such a like great skater, a really good stick. Chikrin also has a very good stick. He like swings it all over the place and just knocks pucks off people pretty consistently. Um, Shabbat again, I feel like needs to maybe put on a little bit of weight. He still gets knocked off the puck sometimes a little easy, but I think pairing him with Chikrin initially did help having two guys kind of able to move the puck up the ice and kind of relieves that instead of pairing him with your
Brandstrom.
worst defenseman or something. Yeah. Then the Pinto situation came out. We were like, oh, that's cool. And then the Dadnov situation came out, losing a first round pick, even more cool. And then, yeah, we just, like, Zub got hurt, Shabbat got hurt, Brandstrom got hurt. And so you have no consistency in defensive lines now. You're playing them with people who are probably more AHL defensemen or just don't have enough NHL experience. And yeah, it's been kind of tough because there's been games where we outshoot people by like 15 and we lose 4-2 or something, or 6-4 or something. And then there's been games where, we get outshot and we don't deserve to win necessarily, but we do. So it's like, I don't know. It's tough because like our penalty hasn't been as strong, our power play hasn't been as strong as last year, even though it has started all right. Um, and I think we're scoring more 5-on-5, which is great, which is something we needed. But how it's like, okay, well, we're still letting in a lot of goals, and I think people always say, oh, well, like goaltending in Ottawa, like they just can't. Maybe they're not signing the right guys, but maybe it's also partially system based, and I think it's allowing a lot of high danger chances to happen throughout the game. It's not necessarily like 2-on-1s or breakaways. I feel like the Sens are pretty good at not giving those up, but it's kind of getting beat on rebound chances or in the slots. And so I think hopefully having a more healthy lineup, um, say in a month, whenever people are supposed to come back, being Shabbat and Zub. Zub, I think, is a big one.
Zub's already back though, isn't he?
Well, he hasn't played yet, but hopefully.
Game time.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that that kind of picks up. And yeah, I really don't blame the goalies. Like Forsberg's definitely played better than Korpisalo, and there's been some weaker goals, but it's a new goalie getting used to the team and like his players around him. And like again, like Ottawa does let like they often give up a lot of shots. Yeah, since you know those first four games were done, the Sens just look a little more discombobulated. They're still scoring, but they're letting in a ton of goals. It's not the goalie's fault, in my opinion. Um,
Okay, question for you. How do you feel about the at the end of the last game, the fire DJ chants in the crowd and Kachuk's response to that actually, and DJ Smith's response to that?
Hmm.
I don't know. It's an interesting one because I feel like being someone who's cheered for the Sens for over a decade, like die hard, um, it's frustrating when your team's been mid or worse the entire time. It's not like I I'm you. It's like Omar in the sense of at least we have good regular seasons. It's not like I'm Sufi where you had good regular seasons and you got a cup and now you're kind of trailing off. Um, it's just been make the playoffs like 35% of the time, maybe miss the rest. Sometimes it's like you're hoping you'd make the playoffs with some sort of expectation. Sometimes you're going to be bad and you just have to tough it out through the entire season. Um, so do I think it's justified that the fans are frustrated that we're finally supposed to be good with players with talent in every position? Yeah. Do I think it's nice to chant to fire someone? No. Um, would I have joined in the chants? No. But I understand the frustration because everyone reacts differently. And I am annoyed with it in the sense of like all I want is some sort of like a normal year being a hockey fan. Like I would love to be a fan of like the Dallas Stars.
Golden Knights.
Golden.
Just have like
Golden Knights, too
hockey
much
stuff,
success.
just hockey stuff going on. And
Yeah, but do you agree whether or not you would chant or not is one thing, but do you agree that DJ should be fired?
I mean everyone gets fired in the NHL at some point.
Yeah,
So
but do you think he's do
Bro,
you
he's
think
he's beating around the bush. Yes,
yeah,
he
do you
agrees.
do you think that he's the right coach for this team right now? Or can
it
do you
seems
think
like the players think so. Um,
Players are always going to say that.
yeah.
They're never going to be like, "Oh, fire the coach,"
Like, do you
unless
think
you're
the
like
Sens'
Johnny Gaudreau.
performance right now is reflective of DJ's coaching? Like, do you think he's the issue? If they change him, do you think the Sens will be a lot better?
I think other coaches could bring more structure to the team, which I think could be beneficial.
Okay,
Sometimes
so you,
that's
you
not
agree.
even. Sometimes that's not even the thing, right? You remember when Paul Maurice fired himself,
Yeah.
where it was like these guys just need a different voice right now, or whatever. You know,
Hmm.
Yeah.
you could bring someone that's exactly the same as DJ Smith and probably provide better results in the
The
sense
last
of.
time I remember chants like this to fire a coach were 2012 in Toronto
Hmm,
when they were doing the fire Wilson chants. And
I
that
do.
was Wilson's last game in Toronto. He got fired after that game.
Hmm.
So it worked. And I remember Brian Burke saying he fired him because it would be cruel and unusual punishment to make Ron Wilson coach another game at the Air Canada Center.
It might happen again.
Um,
Actually,
yeah.
to be
So
fair, they don't actually have a GM right now.
yeah, that's
They have an
true. But
interim
you,
GM.
but I think this kind of resonates with that. Like it's kind of a war zone for DJ at Canadian Tire Center right now because I think he's going to get those chants again.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
I
he
don't know.
might. And
Yeah.
like I can't guarantee that to happen or that not. Like um I think like even in the last year for Pierre Dorion, like I think he's made some really good moves. I think over the years he was kind of um in a situation where he probably couldn't make every move he wanted to. But then he had kind of more cap space and stuff to work with. But then he kind of cap constrained himself. Um, could maybe they have signed Shane Pinto earlier and the gambling thing not have happened? I don't know. The Dadonov trade, I saw memes of like, oh, it's weird that like the Sens had a trade not go through and got punished a first round pick, but like Chicago covered up a sexual assault like scandal, and they just had to fire some people. It's like,
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Yeah, I don't think it's fair that the Sens lose a first round pick for a messed up trade and then the Chicago Blackhawks get Connor Bedard after what they did.
Well, it wasn't a messed up trade. It was hiding information essentially,
Yeah, and
which
he
is
screwed up.
which like though I don't agree that like Chicago shouldn't have gotten punished for their stuff. Like I think they should have gotten way more punishment than Ottawa. I don't necessarily disagree with the punishment for Ottawa.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
agree
don't
with
think they
that.
can be. I don't think they can be compared to each other.
No, but it's just
They're going to be compared to each other because Chicago happened before and they didn't get punished at all, which
yeah.
is cool.
But I
But
think that's where you kind of set a precedent in a way. Like I understand that by the rules or by the laws of the league, that what the Sens did means forfeit a first round pick. Like sure that I'm not saying that that rule is stupid or that the punishment is stupid. I'm saying that you can't like to if you put two things into perspective, like why is Bedard playing on Chicago
but
right now and
then
why are
why
Sens losing
can
the first
but
round pick?
but the problem with that is like then people can just get away with anything going forward because of the Chicago thing. We can't set that precedent because like then what's
No,
the
we
point of
can.
having
We
what's the
can.
point of having rules at all, right?
But
You, you
the
also
thing
you
is
also
he
can't
messed up
now
with
go
Chicago.
back. You also now can't go back and punish Chicago for that. Although there is a new allegation,
The new one, yeah.
so they have the opportunity to punish them now again,
what's
Which
the
they
new
probably
one?
won't.
but they won't.
They won't.
But I'm just saying they have the
What's the new
opportunity
one?
to get.
What's the new one?
I forgot who it was.
There's a there's a
another one.
new player that came out and said that he got sexually abused.
Something
The
like that.
same
Yeah.
in the same like he was also a black ace that year, and it was by the same video coach or whoever it was um, that did it to Kyle Beach.
Hmm.
I think that came out like a couple days ago, and apparently Sean Avery believes him. I don't know why I saw that story, but I saw that
I saw
story.
that too. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, they have the opportunity to do it again, assuming the investigations go where they do. But maybe the pick could have been less, but like by
I feel like
definition,
a first
great.
and then kind of talking about that, like, or kind of transitioning from that is the Michael Landauer press conference, which I thought was pretty interesting in the sense of like an owner or someone in like a high position in a team being very honest and defending Shane Pinto, which I thought was great. I think then as well as um, him essentially calling out the NHL, saying like, I don't know why I inherited this. I don't know why I
Yeah.
didn't know about the Pinto situation if it's been going on for months. I don't know why I didn't hear about the punishment coming for the Dadnov thing. I don't, and maybe that's because the NHL wants to get the biggest price tag, which I think is a totally fair thing to think
Mhm.
of. Like that's probably really frustrating if are a new owner and all this stuff kind of falls on you. That's pretty negative, and it's like this is I wanted clarity on like what's going on in my organization. I should know everything that's going on if I'm buying something. It's not like if you're buying a new car and then you find out like a month later, oh yeah, your engine has to be replaced. Like that would make no sense. Like there should have been some sort of sign that the dealership should have told you. Um, so I can totally understand the frustration from him, but it
Yeah.
was kind of refreshing also hearing him just be like, yeah, it's frustrating because I feel like this should have been brought to my attention way, way sooner, and I shouldn't be punished for this per se. Um,
He does have
The first
grounds to
round
sue
pick
the
they
NHL.
forfeit is next season, like I mean the
They can
2024
pick
first round.
any of the next 3 seasons.
And in the
yeah,
next, okay. All right.
He has enough grounds to sue the NHL.
He
that's
does.
what
So
I'm thinking.
we'll
Like
see if he
he
does
could
it. But I don't
easily do
know.
that,
The thing is, it doesn't do anything for the team. Like he'd get compensated because it hurts
and then he
his.
can get more players when the cap goes up.
Yeah, that
I
doesn't
think,
matter now. I think they would spend to the cap regardless. But
yeah,
if we were in a free cap, then it would go a long way. But no, I think this would just be nice for his pocket.
yeah. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, he 100% could sue the NHL. And I think not necessarily sue, but he should at least talk with like whoever the heck he needs to talk with at the NHL like headquarters, being like, this is not okay. And I think I'm totally on his side for that. It's
Did the
totally
Melnick
unfair.
sisters know?
Pardon?
The Melnick sisters know? Who knows?
Oh yeah.
If they knew, that's a whole different situation.
Was the
But
Melnick? The Melnick daughters said something, didn't they?
Melnick sisters. I meant daughters.
Daughters. Yeah, the Melnick
Their
daughters said,
sisters.
yeah.
You know,
Um,
yeah, headline hogs, as Biz Nasty would say.
yeah.
hey,
Uh,
his fourth favorite team now.
I think they're getting there, he said. I don't think they are.
No, he said they're my fourth team now.
Um, yeah, I'm hoping, like right now, that seems to be the only moderately positive news where it's like the owner defends the team. Um, so hopefully they have some good news coming on the ice at some point.
Yeah, I think Zub being back, honestly, like on defense, if you were like, okay, which two defensemen would you rather like or least like to lose, it would be Zub and Sanderson. Just because I feel like they're super stable, like you're going to get every single night from them. And it's kind of same thing on forward. It's like which two guys would you like to lose the least? I think Kachuk is an easy one because he just kind of changes the game because he brings so much to it. And then probably Stutzel just because he's so dynamic.
He's having an interesting start.
Yeah, but there also has been, okay, I'm not even being biased here. There's been multiple games where there's been blatant penalties on not even just Stutzel, but like players in general in the sense. There was one on Batherson. It was
We're
like
not going
can't
there.
look at his feet, fell, and I was like, guys, I
We're
don't
not going there.
understand.
I could send you 100 videos of the Cavs. He could send you 100 videos of the Leafs.
But
Like,
you have a cup
we-
and
that doesn't matter.
Omar's a Leafs fan. He's dumb anyways.
We can't be that podcast, bro. The NHL's gonna sanction us with fines.
That's fine. I don't care.
We can't be those guys, bro.
I'm just
Take
a
that to
little
Twitter.
frustrated, and I wish that
Take that to Twitter.
I could enjoy some Sens games a little bit more.
Like the other thing with the goaltending thing, I'll say, I know you're not blaming the goalies. They haven't like Forsberg's looked okay. Korpisalo, regardless of system and anything, has looked bad. But I also do think he went from Columbus to LA. So he went from a system of no defense to a system that shells up on defense, and it made him look amazing. And now we're in Ottawa where it's like they're top 10 in shots on goal, but they're also bottom 3 in shots against. So he's going to have to do a lot more stuff in the high danger zones, as you said. But I also think that's in part Ottawa's fault for signing him because they needed a goalie that's more so substantive in that area. But I guess we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean it's been he's probably played like maybe 6 games, if that.
Yeah.
So I'm not stressed.
Me and Omer did say before the season, if we said Ottawa will make the playoffs and be a top 3 seed as long as they get off to a bad start and DJ gets fired.
Yes.
I think we're headed in that direction.
And I think it's the best start you could have hoped for, Evan, because DJ Smith is not the one to carry you to the
And
playoffs.
we're not that far off 500, so it's not like we're one.
You guys are 27th in the league with like a 4-6 record. I don't even know how that's possible.
Yeah, you have too much skill on that team to not make the playoffs this year.
It's ridiculous looking at I'm like Ottawa's 4-6. Like if we could have won one more game, we're 500, and everyone's like losing their mind.
Bro, we're 5-4-1, and we're like 20th, and Toronto's 5-4. Or before yesterday, they were 5-4-2, and they were like 14th or something like that.
Yeah,
like you know, so much just by like one win or loss, except for San Jose. I think they're. Oh my God, we have Edmonton, San Jose on Thursday. By the way.
Oh boy.
Honestly,
well, that's the
Edmonton's
right segue.
Lose.
Let's talk about the Edmonton Oilers now.
If you want to start a streak, you start in San Jose.
What is going on in Edmonton?
It's goaltending.
Is that the only thing that's going on?
And McDavid's just an average first liner now.
It's goaltending and it's coaching.
You think it's coaching?
It's very much coaching. So we can talk about like their defensive pieces and stuff like that. Like I know Nurse overrated, CC bad, et cetera, et cetera. There's enough decent players on that decor to not be as bad as they are.
Yeah.
And that points right at structure of team. Also, that offense should be scoring a lot more right now. Also points to structure of team.
Yeah, Evander Kane
Also
has
coaching.
like almost no points. Connor Brown actually has no points.
Yeah,
McDavid is like
he's
maybe
above
point per
20 games.
game.
No, he is above 20 game. He missed
But
like
barely.
I think he's at like 1.11 or something like that.
Yeah, are you kidding me? This
Like
guy's supposed to be averaging like 17 points a game. Washed.
we compare McDavid to his own standards. Like as Draisaitl is still producing.
I'd
Amazing.
rather Mantha.
Wait, what's McDavid at right now?
He's at like
He's at 10 points
in like 8 or 9 games, something like that.
Probably 10 games.
But you know him, bro. Like if McDavid ends up leading the league in scoring at the end of December, we're not even.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried that he's not going to pick it up. Like he'll pick it up.
The biggest issue on that team is goaltending. Neither goalie has above an 875 save percentage.
Jack Campbell on waivers today.
Yes, it had to happen. 875. Think about that.
That's insane.
Of just not 875% is a good high danger save percentage. Not even good. It's like decent. They don't even have that save percentage anywhere. Low chance, high scoring. It's just bad. And the games that they do win are against like I think they did win it against like Calgary or something, who's also horrible.
Yeah, they beat Calgary in that what was it, Heritage Classic or whatever.
I think who else they beat, like Nashville or something? I don't know.
And they have they have 2 wins, so they beat
Nashville. I think
they beat
right.
Edmonton. They beat
I
Calgary.
think it was early. It was when McDavid scored that goal.
Well,
where he like twirled around or whatever.
A few days ago, they lost to Nashville. Did they play Nashville before that as well?
Yeah, they played early in the season.
Okay, so then they might have won that, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I think they'll get their goals, but I still don't think that'll solve their issues. I think that as much as we think DJ Smith is in the hot seat, I think if 1 or 2 games go bad for the Edmonton Oilers, if they lose to San Jose, Woodcroft is fired, like after the game.
I think there's going to be a little race here between Edmonton and Ottawa. Who's going to get Claude Julien first?
Be sick though. What a change around in like a month if DJ Smith were to get fired. Imagine we get Ottawa local Claude Julien coach, and then who's been studying under a GM that's been very somewhat liked in the NHL. Jason Spezza. Imagine we get Spezza's game and we get Claude Julien. That'd be kind of sick, to be honest.
Spezza as Sens GM would be pretty cool.
But yeah, I agree with that. But I think we're gonna get. It's more likely to get the Boston combination in Ottawa with Chiarelli and Julien.
Yeah.
Nope, not gonna happen. Sorry.
Chiarelli would be a disaster.
Yeah. If I can think of one thing to like send Ottawa in a worse direction, it's Chiarelli.
That's why we're gonna
see Batherson. We're gonna see Batherson traded for like CC.
I mean,
I was telling my friend, I was like, if we see Chiarelli come to Ottawa, Milan Lucic is a senator within a year.
Yeah. if we see Chiarelli come to Ottawa, we have an emergency podcast for Ottawa's funeral.
And those are the events Sufi wants to go to.
I don't have any context to this, so that's kind of okay. Yeah, the other thing I was going to say about Edmonton, I also think a trade needs to happen now. They sent one of their goalies on waivers. I don't even know who else is coming up. Like, I don't know if they signed anyone or if it's just their HL goalie, but there's one player that just makes so much sense that they should have done in the offseason, but they have 2 goalies that suck and they kept them anyway. There's a goalie in a certain Quebec team. As I say this, there's only one Quebec team. I forgot about that. Who is standing on his head, and his name is Jake Allen. I think he's 33 years old, so it's a team that's win now. He needs to go to a place that wants to win. Maybe going to a team that's like 30th in the league isn't ideal for him, but they have the pieces. But I think he can add some stability to their goaltending, and he'll finally have like a better outlook for his team than he ever did in Montreal. Montreal's not doing bad, but I think they're hoping to lose more to get a higher pick, etc. Like they're still rebuilding. Um, so I think Jake Allen makes a lot of sense there, and I think there's a lot of trade talk about Hellebuck still, but I don't know. I honestly have not paid attention to Winnipeg whatsoever. So
They got to
If
do something.
Edmonton got
Edmonton's gonna make a
Hellebuck,
trade.
that'd be kind of hilarious.
that because if we're thinking of like most ideal situations for a team and I guess player, that might be the one. At first, I thought it was Shifley going to Boston, but they kind of trumped that. So
Yeah, Pavel Zacha.
they have Potra, bro. You know who that is? Have you seen this rookie?
Oshawa
Jacob
General
Oster.
Legend.
Jacob Oster told me about him a couple days ago, and because apparently he played on Guelph,
Yeah.
which yeah, and he had like 92 assists or something like that in junior last year, which
What?
it doesn't even equate in my head. But he is filling in nicely at like I think he's playing like second line center. Um, but yeah, Boston. I think Omer wants to talk about them. So
Boston Bruins. Well, okay, so for anyone
okay,
watching
he
our
had 95
podcast,
points. He had
sorry.
16 goals and 79 assists in 63 games. And but now now he has 4 goals in 12 games. So
So the Bruins are 10-1-1, essentially starting the season off exactly like they did last year. Um, top of the league, top of the division, top of the conference. We all had them out of the playoffs. I don't know what positions we each had them in, but we definitely all had them out of the playoffs in our division rankings. Um, I don't like they're gonna be first in the division. Does anyone disagree with that? They're gonna end top of the division again.
I think that there's a lot of changes that's going to happen in the Atlantic. So I can't really say that like concretely. Um, it's also just weird because they've had like a lot of defensemen out and injured and stuff, and they've still been like producing and playing well, which isn't making any sense because like that was the strength of their team was defense. They're also goalie hogging a bit from the rest of the league with Swayman and Allmark.
No, yeah.
Yeah, so I think Edmonton's looking at that and not very happy. But that could also be another team that Edmonton can look to. I just think that their cost might be a little bit high right now. But yeah, maybe we're sleeping on the 2 goalie strategy.
I mean, they're scoring. Pasternak's playing well. Marchand's playing well. Um,
DeBrusk,
DeBrusk is.
Zaka.
I mean, DeBrusk is fine. I mean, he only got like his first goal a few days ago.
um, but yeah, I mean, and some rookies are producing in there. I honestly don't know that much about their lineup because there isn't that many players that I actually recognize. But
I think we
the PK is
underestimated.
fairly well, but they're getting some good secondary scoring.
I think we underestimated coaching for Boston. I feel like it's a big deal. I feel like it's a big reason for why they're also
Your
still
coach,
Jim Montgomery is his name, right?
right?
Yeah.
Dallas's old coach.
Was he?
Yeah, he had the whole substance abuse program situation.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
He got
Yeah,
he
so
resigned.
he's clearly knows what he's doing with this team. I don't know. Unless it's literally just goaltending that's making them do this good. I don't know. I mean, it is the goaltending is insane.
They're the complete anti of Edmonton right now.
But yeah, I
Edmonton
don't
has
see
no
them
good
fall. Like
goalies, and Boston has 2 good goalies.
I don't see Boston fall. I think they're gonna if they fall off a little bit, like they're not falling below second or third spot in the div. Like they're up there and they're staying. I think.
It is like Vancouver. I did see this on Twitter where it's like they've banked enough points now to like even if they play like average the rest of the season, it'll get them to like at least 100 points,
Yeah.
which is more than enough to make the playoffs. Um,
And then my prediction, I'm telling you, man.
although I think if they're in a position to like if they're in like first or second in the division, they're gonna trade for someone. Like I think they have to.
Oh yeah, they'll be buying.
Deadline,
Yeah.
yeah. But like down the middle, it's got to happen somewhere. I forgot about Charlie Coyle. That's the other guy that's been.
Maybe
He's
Steven
definitely been playing.
Stamkos.
He's definitely been playing. But yeah,
But yeah, Boston's. I don't want to say surprise me because I feel like Boston can never surprise us anymore, ever actually. Um, but Boston did kind of come out of nowhere here, still being this strong.
they're more surprising than like Vegas doing well.
Yeah,
Like Vegas, I think all three of us said if they won the division, it wouldn't really surprise us.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think two other teams that we want to talk about, three other teams. I think we forgot about one of like more surprising teams. Vancouver was one of them. Detroit. Detroit's been doing really well. They've kind of been like not Vancouver of the East, but like I think they're doing a lot better than people expected. I think of like Detroit, Ottawa, and Buffalo, we all of us had Detroit below both of them. Um, but like it seems like Larkin and DeBrincat have created something really nice there. Raymond's playing really well. Sider's playing really well. They're getting enough goaltending to pass by. So I think they have an outside shot to make the playoffs for sure. Like they're in a spot right now. So
Yeah.
they're definitely they put them in a position to like at least compete for a playoff come the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the team that you said that I want to talk about was Vancouver. I don't know if I had them in playoffs. I think I said they had talent, but I didn't know what they were going to do with it. Elias Pettersson, thanks for being on my fantasy team. Appreciate it. Just racking up the points. Quinn Hughes, same sort of thing. All the Hughes brothers are just absolutely disgusting. He
Your
had
regression candidate.
what, 5-point night, then a 4-point night.
Your regression candidate. How's he doing?
Hey, I traded for him last year in fantasy. See you later, Vince Dunn. And then, yeah, like I feel like Brock Besser is finally the goal scorer we thought he was going to be this year, which is kind of
Hey,
weird.
Omar had him as bounce back, I think.
Who? Who? Who did I
Brock
have as bounce
Besser.
back? Oh,
You had
Brock
Brock
Besser.
Besser as bounce
Yeah,
back.
I did have him as bounce. He's doing great.
I saw that. I was like, I do not, because I do like I could go at Evan for the JT Miller thing, but I just didn't want to bring him up because of Besser.
I was
It is
right
what
about
it
Besser.
is.
This is true.
Although Evan did have Quinn Hughes as a outside shot Norris pick, and
Oh,
he's the front runner right now.
wow.
I'd say.
Look at me, guys.
Yeah, what do we have here? Yeah, we have bounce back Brock Besser. You also had decline for Darnell Nurse, which I guess is true. Although I think we established that we didn't really know what he was declining from. You had bounce back Jack Campbell. No.
Who did me? Oh, I did. Or guys on waivers, man.
Poor guy went on waivers. Although Evan did have Jacob Markstrom as a bounce back.
Yeah. I wonder. Yeah, but I can't remember who my picks were for those because I want to see how we're doing so far.
And I did well with bounce back for Thatcher Demko. He's like the front runner for Vesna right now, but I definitely did not do well for breakout with Trevor Zegers because he has like 2 points in 11 games. Because literally everyone else on the Ducks is soaring except for him.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
they knew. That's why they didn't want to give him a contract.
I don't know. Maybe they're just like maybe the coaches we already know didn't like him, so maybe they're just like maybe he's on like the fourth line. You never know. He's a grinder.
He's a grinder.
What's been the most impressive thing about the Canucks though?
Well, Thatcher Demko. And then
Brock
they
Besser.
essentially have an elite level player.
At every position.
Sorry, a superstar player at every position right now.
Yeah.
They have, you could argue, maybe the best goalie right now. They have arguably the best defenseman right now. And then they have like Pettersson, who's incredible. They also have Besser, who's scoring like crazy. They have some other guy that I've never heard of, and I think he's trash.
Miller,
Like
Kuzmenko.
that Kuzmenko's been doing really well. It's like every single night, someone on the Canucks putting up like a 2, 3, 4 point night. And
Yeah.
like a huge reason for the team winning that evening.
I don't know. I think like the offense probably should have been producing more in general in past years, like just by the players that were there.
Mhm.
But the defense has been really impressive. Like Tyler Myers had a bit of a revelation.
Yeah. Cole.
Cool. Yes. I kind of forgot he was there, I'll be honest. But yeah, everyone's just the thing with Demko is I think
Hronik.
yeah, Hronik's actually been amazing.
Vancouver's
Uh
also played 3 games for Edmonton already.
that's why they've
That's
torched him every
that's
single time.
also fair. And they played San Jose.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not that good.
The thing
Like,
is,
how do you
I think
play Edmonton 3 times in your first 10 whatever games? Like, that's a
they're
bit.
probably not going to play them the rest of the season though.
They probably have one more, no? Maybe
Maybe
not.
one more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit different this year. Like I think we only have the Islanders 3 times this year.
Yeah,
But
Toronto's played Tampa twice already.
yeah, it's the thing with Demko is nice to see is like I think 2 years ago we all maybe had him top 10 goalie or around there at least, and then he had the worst start to a season you could have possibly had and got injured. So coming back this year, like I didn't expect him to be as electric as he's been. Like the saves that he's making are
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like I've seen a couple of 10 bellers in each game.
Yeah, he's been quite good.
Those reconstructed hips are working for him.
The other team that's kind of surprised me, well, not surprised me, but like I was expecting a bit of a better start was Seattle.
They've I think they just went back into I think we saw the lowest of Seattle in that first year, and then we saw a peak, and then
Yeah,
we realized that they have like the most mid team ever.
yeah, it's true.
So it's
It's
kind of just gotten to that, you know. But it's again there as goaltending. That's a bit of a sticky one with Grubauer. But yeah, I want to talk about the Ducks. The Ducks. The Ducks are they're reminding me a lot of last year's New Jersey, but it's even less expected from them because we're just so used to mediocrity from the Ducks ever since like they were consistent made the playoffs for like 10 years. Um, but we can talk about the offense and like McTavish and Terry and even Vetrano, who's been really good. But there is one player, there's two players, one on defense and one at goalie, who have just been complete revelations, both rookies. Um, and the score has this like Calder Trophy update article that they do every month. Um, and Anaheim has two guys in the top three, and one of them at three is Lucas Dostal, who has a 920 save percentage through 6 games. And he's only 23 years old. And then Pavel Mitnyakov, who has 8 points in 11 games and has been absolutely insane defensively as well. Like the line this writer has in here is the defenseman hasn't played a single game in the AHL and already looks like this at 19 years old. He looks like he's already played 5 seasons in the NHL. And I watched a condensed game of the Ducks because I wanted to see how this guy played. And he was everywhere. He reminded me a lot of like Heiskanen and even Dahlin, how they play right now. So I'm kind of excited to see where he goes. Although when we went to see the 67s last year, he did stick out of everyone that was there. So it's not crazy surprising that he's doing well. It's just the fact that defenseman is dominating it as much as he is at 19 years old at both ends of the ice. So I think they're gonna be an exciting team. I still am skeptical of them even coming close to the playoffs, but they're in a place right now, so I'm not gonna count them out.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be um kept up. Like I don't think they're gonna actually make the well. Yeah, I don't know, but
Because I mean, Zegers doesn't even turn it on yet, right? Like
yeah,
if he ever gets going, that's another person that
Maybe
can
it's because he was just a
score.
first line center on a bad team, and now the team's good. He can't compete, and he just is a third line center with just some good hands.
What happened with you and Zegers? Why do you just pick on players, bro? Call me a
I
bully.
just I just like to pick on anyone that you kind of like, and you like little TikTok boys. So
JT Miller's a TikTok boy. He's like a
Oh,
dad of four.
yeah, of 4 TikTok boys.
Interesting. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think that's all we have on NHL stuff. There's not really anyone like Vegas is Vegas. Like I don't think there's if Vegas was doing bad, it'd be surprising, but they're
Mhm.
not.
Yeah, they're doing fine.
Montreal, I guess, has been better than people expected. Slavkovsky scored his first goal of the season, so that's amazing. Um, I think there's a lot of talk of like, should they send him to the AHL? Because right now they're playing him on the fourth line, and it just seems like pointless to have your like 20-year-old player that you drafted first overall playing on the fourth line. Like, at least send him down to help maybe develop him, like
Mhm.
whatever's left of him.
Mhm.
Otherwise, we're gonna end up with like another Lafreniere Kako situation.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the episode. We apologize for postponing it. The move and then health issues have pushed us back a bit, but we'll be getting more consistent throughout the season. There was a lot to talk about, so hopefully next time we'll have a little bit less team stuff and maybe some time for some more games. Um, yeah, let's hope by the next time we're talking, the Sens are first in the NHL, and if Action broke the gold record, and Tom Timothy Liljegren is on his way to recovery.
Yeah,
Kind word
Brad
for the
Marchand
Leafs. Look at
sucks.
that.
Hopefully by then we have Reeves chasing Marchand around the ice.
So
All
yeah,
right,
thank you
guys.
for tuning in, everyone. And where can you find us, Omar?
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Stitcher, iHeartRadio,
Stitcher.
Stitcher, Sirius XM, Amazon Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and on so follow us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram.
At the Unfortunate Diehards.
At the Unfortunate Diehards. And we'll see you next time, guys. Take care.